I came to work here in 1977, and the number of faculty was abysmally small. Really had very little concern of meeting their obligation to lecture to the students or hold the student conferences. So after a few months after I'd been here, I was helped Dr. Fry and all. I certainly wouldn't tell him how to run things, but I went to him one day and I said, Dr. Fry, I think the students are getting a short end of the stick. I don't think that we're really teaching them what we need to teach them, and we don't hold our responsibilities very strongly, and we don't meet the obligations. And he said, would you like to work in that realm? So I learned never to protest or criticize something. I said, I don't know anything about student teaching, and I made up a questionnaire, and I wrote all the medical schools in the United States and Canada, asked how they taught, what conferences, what textbooks, what worked best. Tell me about how you grade the clinical experiences. And one of the questions I had, would you be interested in a national meeting just to discuss this? Well, the first mailing, I got about a 75% return, which is ridiculous. Nobody ever gets. So I sent it out again, and I got another 15% or so. But no, all of them wanted to have a meeting. So Dr. Gewirtz and I called people around the country to get a board together. And so we got, I called Hiram Polk at Louisville, and he said, I think that's a great idea, and I have a guy named Norman Snow who I'll be sending. And then I talked to a guy named at Thomas Jefferson named Gordon Swartz, who was a breast surgeon. And he came to the first meeting. Another guy named Anthony M. Bimbo, who was vice chairman at Johns Hopkins when we first started. We met at the airport here in Dallas, not knowing each other, and we sat down and wrote the goals for an organization. And we decided to have a meeting, which we held the first one in 1980, I guess, down at the hotel downtown with a skating rink. Anyhow, we had 70 schools represented, and we had Assistant Secretary for Health out of the Department of Health and Human Services as a keynote speaker. Then we had some professional people on teaching methods and what have you. And it worked out so well that we decided to have a second meeting. It was billed as the first annual meeting. I didn't know that there'd be a second, you know. We met this time, we spent all our money, and Bill Fry, to his credit, bankrolled all this, and it was running into some money. We met University Louisville put this one on, and we had it in the Holiday Inn. we went from the big hotel downtown Dallas to the Holiday Inn. Anyhow, we had a big attendance, and we kept the same board for about 10 years. In what we do, we'd meet 2 or 3 times a year at one of our institutions, and whoever was there had to show us a good time, you know. It caught on, and then we started asking for original papers, and so we got a wealth of papers, but they got better and better, and we had some resources to teach them how to write education papers. The papers became good enough that Hiram Polk was editor of the American Journal of Surgery, and so they became our publishing arm, and once a year they had an education thing. And then the next year we met, seemed like Toronto, and then we met in Salt Lake City and Seattle and Chicago. I don't know, we met in all sorts of places. One of the first members, first the most enthusiastic member was a guy named Roland Foltz. He was way ahead of his time. He had full-time people in teaching in his department. One of the aims was to promote teaching as an integral part of a faculty member's job, and to incorporate this in the promotion process, because most of the schools were not including teaching as an important thing. I think we changed the promotion committees a little bit, because now I think being a member of the hierarchy of ASE, that people, that's a boon to promotion. What got me promoted, being president of the ASE for 2 years and starting a new organization, got me some bonus points. But that was the love of my life for a while, and we had a 10-year meeting in here in 1990. It's about time we had another one, I guess. But I think it's got a lot of people promoted, and I think it's got, and I think it's brought attention to not just surgical education, but to medicine and all the other divisions. And it seems like the production of new knowledge, or at least the science of teaching, is improved. And yeah, I got to know a lot of great people that way.